Welcome to the calorie tracking series. In this three-part series, we're going to teach you exactly how to track your calories in the most efficient and effective way possible. Video one, we're going to teach you how counting calories can help us achieve our body composition goals. And video two, we're going to teach you how we count them and the actual method as to how to do it. Video three, we're going to be teaching you how counting calories and how this method essentially can fit into your life, into a sustainable and flexible lifestyle. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Nice little photo of me after my dieting phase. So you'll be learning how to count calories, obviously, during the series. Why track them? Why use the app? The process, solving common problems, scenarios, errors, issues, and techniques to make the process as simple and easy as possible. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it as effective for you as possible. Through this, we're going to be covering some theory, some explanations, and breaking down some common beliefs and concepts of the tracking calories process. Because let's be honest, there are some definitely some beliefs out there that are incorrect, and in this series we'll be able to break down why this process is so great for achieving body composition goals. So let's just get right into it. So overview of this video specifically, we're going to be covering what are calories and macros, giving you the education that you need to know why this process sort of works, how you can use them to achieve your goals, the pros of tracking calories, and also breaking down the negative beliefs around tracking it as well. All right. Cool. So calories are a unit of measurement used to calculate how much energy is in food. So food actually holds energy. You eat the food, you consume the energy, and you also burn energy as well. So, when we're calculating how we're going to get someone to lose weight, we need to know how much energy is going in, how much energy is out, so we can get the energy balance equation right, and get you burning body fat. Okay. So, this is obviously a very, very important, very important process for that reason. But yeah, calories is the basic sort of energy metric for food. Calories are broken down into three types of macronutrients. So macros, you can sort of call. You've probably heard people say macros: proteins, carbs, and fats. Each individual food has a specific number of calories and macros. For example, 100 grams of apple has 59 calories, 14 grams of carbs, 0.2 fat, so really low in fat, and protein, 0.3 protein. And 100 grams of Greek yogurt has 117 calories, 7 grams of carbs, 7.6 grams of fat, 5.5 grams of protein, just to name some examples. So those two examples are good examples because an apple is a very sort of carb-heavy food, low fat, low protein, whereas Greek yogurt is very balanced between carbs, fats, and proteins. And that ratio of carbs, fats, and proteins is different for every food. So you'll come to learn which foods match what ratios as you learn throughout this process. I'll also put myself up over here so you can see. In any given certain food, the addition of the grams of these three macros will make up the total number of calories within that food. All right, because 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. All right, so essentially the combination, for example, for Greek yogurt, how do you find 117 calories? It's actually 7 grams of carbs times 4. It's 7.6 grams of fat times 9, and it's 5.5 protein times 4. All together should additionally add up to something around 117, which is the total amount of energy in that food based on those macros. So that's the kind of breakdown behind it. So using an app, so MyFitnessPal, we can track the macros and therefore the amount of calories of the food that we eat to produce a total number of calories and gram, number of each macros on any given day, which is very important because it represents the intake of energy for that day. And that's really important. We want to measure how many calories we're eating per day, how much protein we're consuming, carbs and fats if we're measuring carbs and fats. So by tracking each and every individual food, and then the addition of all of the macros across the whole day and all the calories across all the foods across the whole day, we'll be able to know exactly how much energy is going into our body, and also how much of each macros we're consuming on a certain day. So that's really important. So how can we manipulate the calories and macros? I'll just put myself down a little bit. Yeah. How can we manipulate the calories and macros to achieve our body composition goals? Okay. So losing or gaining weight is dependent on an overall energy balance equation. So it's calories in versus calories out. You might have heard that term before. So calories out represents basically the amount of food, the amount of energy you burn per day. And this can be through many different ways: metabolic rate, activity, cardio, lots of different ways. Calories in is a term that represents simply how many calories we are eating across the day. So a total in calories. As long as the number that we are eating, the amount of energy that we're eating, is less than the amount of energy that we are burning, we will be in a calorie deficit, and we will lose weight. The opposite goes for gaining weight. You know, if you're burning less than you're consuming, then you'll be gaining weight, and therefore you're in a calorie surplus. All right. So this is why counting and tracking calories that we are eating is so important, so we can control the flow of energy through the body. That's really, really important. If we can control the flow of energy through the body, then we can control whether our body is in a surplus or in a deficit, okay? Protein is also very important because it plays a massive role, as well as resistance training, in deciding how much of the weight loss or weight gain is fat and how much is muscle. So what people will often say is, you know, the calories in, calories out will determine whether you gain or lose weight, and the macros, that's why macros is really important, will determine how much of it's muscle and how much of it's fat. So it's important that we track both things, and they're kind of linked, because as you just saw, you know, macros make up the total amount of protein, so they're linked. So when you track the calories, you also track the macros as well. Making sure we're nailing our macros as well is super important for making sure we're losing the right kind of weight or gaining the right kind of weight, if that makes sense. Your coach, whether that's me or someone else, will give you a set amount of calories to hit every day, give you a calorie amount, and we'll also give you a protein target as well. Sometimes we'll give you a carb and a fat target, but mostly it's just those two, because those that fat and carbs are more just sort of for energy purposes, whereas protein is more to do with like muscle muscle maintenance or growth. So your job will be to track the calories and macros on any given day, and accurately hit the targets every day. Okay. So through using these methods that we're going to teach you, tracking the calories every day, tracking the protein every day, and you know, just making sure that you're hitting those numbers on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Now, the pros of tracking calories is a lot of benefits to doing it. So the flexibility. So, you know, tracking calories essentially allows you to be sort of as flexible with your diet as you want to be. You know, as long as you're hitting your calories, as long as you're hitting your protein, you know, it doesn't matter too much what you're eating. Obviously, you want to keep the foods relatively quality, and mainly whole foods, because you know that's going to affect like sort of how you feel, and your energy and your performance and your recovery. But apart from that, you can be pretty flexible, you know, with having foods that you really enjoy eating and not being on, you know, a restrictive diet, which is awesome. Another benefit is that just the simple fact of you knowing that you're hitting the right calories and macros, and that it's exactly what it needs to be. That peace of mind of just knowing, because if you're on a random diet and you don't know how many calories or how much protein's in it, it's always just going to be a guessing game of, you know, am I hitting the right amount of calories? Am I hitting the right amount of protein? You never know until you actually track it. You can achieve your goals and still enjoy yummy foods on a regular basis. You know, I've had clients in the past that, you know, love to eat, all sorts of yummy foods, and they can incorporate in their diets, on a regular basis, and have enjoyable weekends and stuff, because, you know, they're still hitting the numbers that they need to hit. Okay. You can predict and achieve certain weight loss in a preferable time frame. So, you know, being able to track this, we can sort of we can put you on a number of calories depending on how fast we want to lose the weight. And essentially comes back to, if the numbers are right, we'll be able to essentially predict how long it's going to take for you to lose the weight. If you need to lose weight, in 12 weeks or 16 weeks or whatever, we can sort of predict that. And it's the most reliable and accurate method to achieving your body composition goals, period. There's not really better methods. Yes, there are other diets, keto and paleo and all these other things that, yes, they do work, but they work because, you're in a calorie deficit. It's not too much else that's to it. So if you can actually work on putting your time and energy into getting the calories and the protein right, then around that you can design the diet to your lifestyle and to your likes, so you can make the diet as sustainable as possible, because that's key. Keto is not sustainable, paleo is not sustainable. All these things, all these other diets aren't sustainable for the majority of people. But finding a diet that works best for you is going to be the one that's most sustainable. And through tracking calories, you will find a diet that works best for you, and something that you can sustain long term, because that it really is the goal, isn't it? All right, breaking down the negative beliefs around counting calories. So, counting calories is often associated with added stress, dieting taken too far, or unnecessary obsessiveness, as I've said here. When actually tracking your macros should take the stress out of dieting, not the other way around. It really is about perception. Okay, so a lot of people will perceive tracking as like, oh, I don't want to track my food, like that's so like over the top, and like I'm not like one of them gym bros that tracks all their food, and all of these common perceptions that have just been instilled by people who don't really know what it's all about, and know the science behind it. But when you actually choose to perceive it in a different way, and you choose to perceive it as, what, this tool is actually going to help me become a better and healthier and person, and lose all this weight. This is actually a really positive tool. It's going to take the stress out of dieting. I'm not going to have to stick to this really restrictive diet. I can have a few chockies on the weekend. That's pretty awesome. And I can, have, protein apple crumble every morning, and I can have my, shepherd's pie every night, and I can have the foods that I like, because I know I'm hitting my calories and protein. That's pretty cool. So I think it really is about perception. Once you change that perception from a negative perception to positive perception, and you perceive this as something that's going to really help you get to where you want to go, then that's just going to break down all the negative beliefs that you might have had about this process originally. As I said, it works for so many people. It works so well. And once you overcome those barriers that might be holding you back, it can do a lot for you. This method, as I said, this method is done by millions. I just move myself back down again, moving myself all over the place. This method is done by millions. It works. It gets amazing results. Of course, I was tracking calories during this process. All of my clients, or the vast majority of my clients, track calories. And it's a skill that, once you learn it, you have it for life. You'll once you understand the nitty gritties of tracking and whatnot, you'll be able to know, what calories have what foods have lots of calories, what have less calories, what foods are good for protein, less in protein. Generally, you'll have a better understanding of food. So it's an education process just as much as it is a tracking process as well. And you'll have it for life, and you'll be able to use it to, be whatever body composition you want to be, now or in the future. Lack of understanding of the specificity around calories causes rebound. So classic example, you go on keto, you lose a bunch of weight, you go off keto, you gain the weight back. Whereas, tracking calories, you can actually manipulate it so that you're in a calorie deficit for a certain amount of time. Then you bring your calories up really slowly so your metabolism can adjust, and you can actually maintain that weight long term and not be one of those people that rebounds. This skill can help you get in, but most importantly, stay in incredible shape. Okay. There we go. Breaking down the negative beliefs around calorie counting again. If people are avoidant when it comes to counting calories, it's most likely because they don't believe in the process. They don't believe the process is going to cost them stress. They believe the process is going to cost them stress and time. when in reality the only problems that will arise um, from this process will be the lack of understanding of the most efficient way to do it. I think I've read that really wrong. Let me try again. When really the only problems that will arise from would be from a lack of understanding of the most efficient way to do it. Okay, that's really the only problem. That will arise. Um, Once you have learned the best and most efficient way to do it, which we will teach you, you won't encounter problems, and therefore it will be stress-free. Okay, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do here. Is we're not trying to counting calories doesn't add stress and time to your life. It actually takes stress and time out of your life because you have this understanding, this deeper understanding of of flow of energy through your body and control over your life at a deeper level. So, yeah, if anything, it's not going to add problems to your life. It's going to take problems away from your life, is what I'm trying to say here. Tracking calories is actually also about enjoyment as well, because as I said, sustainability is key. You want to find the routine that works best for you. All right. And sure, you can completely not enjoy your life at all for a period and lose a bunch of weight, and you can lock in. And I respect people that do that. But a lot of people that I work with still want to be able to, enjoy weekends every now and then, and enjoy a drink here and there, while they're, achieving their goals. And it's absolutely possible when you're using a method like this. At the end of the day, tracking calories allows you to achieve your goal body weight while still being able to enjoy the foods you love, in moderation, because you know what the balance is. It's as simple as that. Don't let anyone tell you different. If you're fully serious and committed to getting 5-star results, learning the skill is going to be a huge step in the right direction. It's not easy to learn, but like anything in life, once you get it, you get it. And it makes this entire transformation process a lot easier, faster, and more enjoyable. Absolutely. And that's pretty much it, guys. So just a little recap. This is the way to go. That is how it's all done, broken down from a calorie and macro standpoint. As I said, this process will, initially it's going to take a little bit to learn how to do it, but once you learn how to do it, it is going to take a lot of the guesswork out of it. It'll mean that you can enjoy, enjoy food on the weekends and alcohol and stuff and all that, but still be able to achieve your body composition goals. And it's not like you can, you're going to be able to still have this, the food and social life that you have now. But at least you'll know, obviously you got to make some sacrifices when you are, trying to lose weight, for example, or trying to achieve a body composition goal. But at least you'll know how much fun you can have, if that makes sense. That's the most important thing. How much fun can you have during this dieting phase? And, tracking calories will show you how much fun you can have. Can't have any more fun than that if you want to achieve your goals. But at least, you're not eating, chicken, rice, and broccoli every day, and only that, or, not having carbs or something crazy like that. So yeah, that's a summary. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video, where we're going to be going over how to actually do the tracking process. Thanks, guys.